Okay. Yeah, so before we begin, I think just a bit of housekeeping. So one, should you have any question during the presentation, kindly raise up your hand. We'll be able to see your hand and give you time to ask the question. Otherwise, you can also just write your question under the text area. We have a team within the call that will be able to respond to you during the training. The training is also being recorded. So for your information, we are just recording it so that if at all you are not able, some of you who are not here or whoever would want to go through it one more time, you can go to our YouTube channel and get the video there. So then you can go through it on your own. So before we begin, I would like to maybe invite Dr. Jacob. I hope he's in the call just for brief remarks as we start the training. Then after that, I'll be taking you through the actual training. So I don't know if Dr. Jacob is already in the call.
Hi Bernard, I'm here.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. Thanks for the nice introduction. I won't take a lot of time. It's just to mention that when at the beginning of EMR implementation, there were certain benefits that EMRs were envisioned to provide to end users. And over time, a lot of focus has been made on just ease of managing patients' clinical records, but also generation of reports. However, the process of report submission to the Ministry of Health, especially on the standard MH reports and some of the CDC Kenya reports that is submitted through to 3 p.m., that process is still manual, meaning that facilities that are already comfortable and confident in the number of in their numbers in the EMR still require to basically transfer the generated reports onto paper before submitting manually to the county for uploading to DHIS. So the automated indicator reporting solution that you'll be taken through is meant to address that gap, so that it makes it easier. If you invest your time in the EMRs, then it will save you the cost of not only printing MH731, but also of ensuring that report timeliness is achieved with regards to reporting to DHIS too. So this session will be to just guide you on how to set up facilities to be able to benefit from automated indicator reporting. We know that currently we have over 66 facilities that have the interoperability layer, but the uptake of automated indicator reporting is still nascent. We spent some time, I think we just have 1 or 2 facilities that is already benefiting from this feature, following a pilot that we conducted last year, all through to this year. Hopefully you'll hear about the issues we found at the sites that are there. So I'm encouraging you that during this session, you give us feedback on what your thoughts are with regard to how the solution works. But you also start thinking, you have at the back of your mind the facilities that you have been confident about their reports and you think could benefit from automated indicator reporting. At the end of the session, it would be great to hear that you are considering rolling out this feature in some of your facilities that already have the interoperability layer, or some facilities that would benefit from this feature moving forward. Otherwise, I want to thank Bernard once again for arranging for this meeting and for partners making time to attend, so that we can both learn together and come up with a way forward in terms of taking uptake of the solution for the benefit of the facilities. Thank you very much. Ben, I'll take it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jacob, for those remarks. So I guess we may need to start, and I believe you are in a position of accessing some of the URLs that I'm going to share with you. So before we begin, I think, let me just share my screen. Okay. I don't know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, I can from my end.
Okay. Yeah, so we are going to look at the two URLs. One, we are going to use the online test server, which is marked as test air server number 1. So kindly you can pick that URL. The username and password is indicated. The second test server we are going to also rely on is the online interoperability layer server, which we are going to use to kind of submit or transmit our report to the DHIS. So you can also pick that and maybe write it on the side or just open it on the side. And the login credentials are as indicated, admin.
Could you please just copy the links and place them on the chat? It will be easier for the team to just pick them over.
Okay. Okay, I believe you now have the two URLs, so then we can move together as we go through this. But before we start, I have a brief presentation which I would want just to make to kind of introduce the eAIR and also the IL as a concept as we proceed. Okay, so just to introduce the concept of the automated indicator reporting and the expanded indicator reporting. First, we need to first of all understand that for this to happen, for you to submit your reports from KenyaEMR to the DHIS2, you will need an intermediator, and this mediator, we are calling it the interoperability layer, or the IL in short. So this is kind of a broker of information exchange between any system. I think most of us here, IL is not a very new concept in this forum, because I know some of you have somehow tried to implement IL just to exchange data maybe between EMR and maybe ADT or EMR and the MLab for the purposes of streaming in the viral load results, and or for T4A. So the IL stands in between your system and the target system, so that the two systems or more can exchange information. So interoperability layer knows how to route the data. It knows how to route the information between systems, be it between your EMR and the local systems, or between the EMR and the reporting repositories like the DHIS2, as I've mentioned. So, so if you look at this kind of particular diagram, just for your information, you'll see the IL sitting in between, and it can mediate interchange of information between different information systems, including the laboratory information system, the MPI, ADT, and the rest. And on the right side of the screen, you can see a sample screen. We are going to see this as I'm going to take you through this live. Okay, so we have different use cases for IL, as I've mentioned, and there are different requirements for each, as you can see. So you realize that you can do data exchange between EMR and ADT. So for your use, it will vary based on your requirement or based on your use case. If you'd like to have IL for exchange of data between EMR and ADT, or you want to just stream in the viral load results, you want to interchange data between your local EMR and maybe the M health systems, the Ushauri systems, or you want to do the air reporting now that I'm taking you through this. So depending on your use case, we have different requirements for the same. And this is also documented in the SOPs that are available for you online. But you realize that, for instance, if you want to implement IL for your air reporting, you will need to have valid EMR settings for air and also the correct DHIS2 endpoints set in your IL. And at any given point when you want to do your reporting, you will need to have internet access. So those are some of the requirements depending on your use case. This is just a sample screen. You'll be able to see this as we go through the training with you. So that brings us to the automated indicator reporting. So what is this automated indicator reporting? Okay, so this is where you generate your reports electronically, especially the MH report, aggregate reports. Then you get to submit them to DHIS using the automatic data exchange format, the ADX messages, which is being forced through the IL. So in short, it's just a way of just, at the end of the month, you extract your reports, you just run your 731 report, and then you click send to DHIS when you have your internet, and that's it. So then you don't have to do the transcriptions that we usually do, which sometimes might introduce a lot of unnecessary errors in the data or inconsistencies in the data that you submit. So it's something that we'll be able to do for you live during this particular training so that you can also appreciate the power of the EMR and the IL intermediating for us. So the rest of these are just screens. You'll need to log into KenyaEMR. You will need to go to the air module, especially when you want to report on the extra indicators, like I had mentioned, the VMMC, the PEP, and the MAT. So you go to air, then you capture those. Then they'll be reported alongside the indicators that you normally report from the standard MH731 that you generate from KenyaEMR. So we will see how that works. This is the process of entering the additional indicators. These are the 3 data sets that are available for you as you report for the extra indicators that I'm talking about. And this is how the screen looks like when you are capturing these additional indicators. Then this is the process of accessing 731. Once you've captured the additional aggregate indicators in that previous window, as I've shown you, then you generate the 731 normally, so that when you are submitting this to DHIS, all those are submitted as part of 731, because ideally they are part of 731 report. It's just that we don't have the standard KenyaEMR as it is right now does not capture, the green card does not capture those indicators, so you cannot report on them. But you'll find that a facility is also doing care and treatment, is having the green card being filled for the patient. But at the end of the month, they also want to report on additional services like the VMMC or the PEP, but then they don't get to capture this data. So you can provide those other extra services elsewhere, but when it comes to reporting, you can submit that report as part of 731. So that is what actually eAIR and expanded eAIR is all about. So this is simply the process of generating report in 731. I guess we saw this last week. And then this is how the message that comes when you successfully submit this report to IL. Then the next screen is now where the IL is doing its thing. The IL has picked your ADX message. It has rerouted it and submitted it to DHIS successfully. So you'll be able to see something like what you have on your screen. Then towards the tail end of this training, we'll be able to log into the DHIS instance and verify that the data that we have submitted is actually reflecting in the DHIS instance. Okay, so for configurations, we have a lot of documentation and a lot of SOPs that might guide you on how to set up IL, how to set up eAIR. So we just need to get to the resources page on your data warehouse homepage, or we can share them separately if you wish. So then you are able to access and also set them up on your system. And if you need help with those, also don't hesitate to reach out to our service desk team, who are also will be able to take you through the same. Okay, so that's a brief introduction of the eAIR. So I think next we can now go live and take you through the actual process. But first, I would like to take you through the IL. Again, if you have any question, kindly type it at the test area, so then we can be able to respond as we proceed. So I've talked about interoperability layer as part of the eAIR report submission. You cannot implement eAIR, or you cannot submit your report using the automated indicator reporting if you don't install IL in your server or at your facility. So IL, as I said when we started, is a broker of messages. It brokers messages between different systems, and I've given those examples. So you will need to have IL installed at your facility. It can be in a separate box, it can be in a separate computer, or it can be part of the eAIR. It can be installed within the server where the eAIR is running. So all those are allowed, so long as you have it correctly configured. You are able to submit your eAIR reports to DHIS. So how do we configure? I don't want to take you through the technical configuration, but I just want to show you a snippet of where you touch if you want to just configure your IL so that it can transmit your eAIR data. So first, you need to go to the participating systems, and then you look at DHIS2. So the only thing you need to change is this address here. I'm just highlighting. So you are simply telling IL where to send the ADX message, the messages that are coming from your report from the 731. You are simply telling IL where to submit that particular report. So this particular URL, this particular address, we call it the endpoint, helps you in kind of tell IL where to send the report. So you can update it and then paste this address. If you look at the user guides that we provided, all those processes are there on how you can change. and also the address is already given for you. Because this is a training and it's not the actual report, we are using a test instance. So this, as you can see, is a test instance that is being hosted by the University of Nairobi. So that is the test, the HIS test instance that we use. So you need to set that. Then the last thing you need to set the username, the authenticated username and password for the DHIS, okay? So this can be maybe the credentials of one of the HRIOs at the facility or anyone at the facility who is allowed to access DHIS. So you can put those credentials here. As you can see, we have the DHIS2 username and we have the DHIS2 password, okay? So those are the only two things that you need to set. You need to set the DHIS endpoint and also the username and password. Once that is set correctly, you are done from the IL side. You only need to get to KenyaEMR and set up the server link. So then KenyaEMR knows where to post the message. So let me also take you through KenyaEMR, where do you need to set so that your messages could be sent. Okay, I'm hoping that you're able to see the screen. So this is our online test server. So I just want to show you the only one place you need to touch, so then you're able to submit your data to DHIS. So I'll just log in. The login is admin. Then I go to the developers. Then the legacy UI. Then I'll go to advanced settings. Under advanced settings, the only thing I want to look for is IL server. IL server. So I'm just searching for it. There it is. So I only need to plug in the URL to the IL. So if I install the IL in a different box, maybe on a different computer with a different IP address, I need to insert that here, and I need to include the port to that particular API, then that's it. So you don't need to cram this here. I'm just showing you so that I demystify the technical process that people think maybe it's technical. It's just a matter of telling KenyaEMR where the IL is, so that when you're generating your reports and submitting the DX file, it knows where it is going to find the interoperability layer instance, okay? So once you do that, the next thing you need to do, which is very simple, is to look for the MFL code. MFL code. So you need to specify, you need to tell the IL which MFL code you are going to be submitting. So if at all it is for this particular facility, and most of the time it's supposed to be for this particular facility that you have installed KenyaEMR, you need to specify that particular MFL code right there. Then you save, okay? Once you do that, you are done. So you simply come back and then you start doing your reports. So we've done two things. We've seen where you touch in the IL if you are configuring for air, and I've also shown you on the part of the KenyaEMR where you touch if you want to configure for air. So the next thing you're going to do now is to take you through the actual process of now reporting. Every month you want to report using the automated indicator reporting, or you want to report your extra indicators using the expanded air. So what do you do at the end of the month? So here is the process. And I guess this is the crest of this particular training. Okay. Let me just admit other people. Okay. Okay. So we want to assume that this is end month. So you want to do your reports and you want to submit your reports to DHIS. In this case, as I said earlier, we are going to use the test instance of the DHIS2, which is hosted elsewhere. It is not going to interfere with your existing reports, so you should not be worried. So the first step is to click home, then look for the eAIR module. So we are going to do the expanded eAIR. We are going to do the extra indicators that are not being generated on the standard MH 731 from KenyaEMR. So you click on eAIR. So this is the facility reports. We are going to view the data sets that are available. So as you can see, you are seeing the 3 data sets that we are going to report on as part of our 731. So we are going to do indicators on VMMC. We are going to do the aggregate indicators for PEP and also for MAT. So let's just start with, we are going to start with VMMC. So what happens also, you can view the indicators even before you capture them. You can see all those indicators that are included under VMMC dataset. Okay, you can also see, you can view the indicators that are included in the PEP and see whether they make sense for you. You can also view the indicators for MAT and see whether they are consistent with what you are familiar with. Then also, you can also view the reporting history for the previous reports. Like for instance, I can see report that was generated for April. I can see one that was generated for May. And I'm able to view that particular report as it were. And I'm able to tell what was captured for each indicator during that time, okay? So there is that very important feature of saving your reporting history. So then you can always go back and confirm if at all there are any questions asked or you want to just confirm what this facility had reported earlier. You can always go back to your reports and just see. And again, you can also edit those reports and resubmit them for those months that were affected, okay? So there's a lot of wiggle room here, a lot of flexibility that you can kind of take advantage of. So how do we capture our data? How do we capture the extra indicators? So you simply click enter data. So today for this particular training, we are going to use let's do the month of June. Yeah, let's do the month of June. So I'll do June 1st to June 30th. So I want to capture indicators. So I just want to capture some funny data so that we are able to identify them in the DHIS. So let's just say, like everything will be 200 today. For the data managers who are in the room, you'll forgive me for violating the data quality today. Everything will be 200. So we save. So we are saving our extra indicators, the report for extra indicators, the service that we are providing in this facility, but not, which we are not capturing any data in the eAIR, but we have the reports and we want to submit this report as part of our 731. So I've captured the reports for VMMC for the month of June. I want to save that, okay? Then I want to now capture the reports for PEP, which is also another service that we provide here in our facility for the same month. Okay, So this one we can say 100. Okay, then we save this. Okay, then we go to March. We also want to capture something here for the month of, we are making our reports for the month of June again. So this one I'll just say 150. Then I save. Okay, so this is part of 731 reports, as I've already said, and all those aggregates that I've captured in this particular 3 data sets should form part and parcel of 731 when I submit to DHIS. Okay, so the next thing is I go to the report. So I click home, then I go to my report. I go to my report, and the report I want to generate here is 731 report. 731 report. So I'll just request the report, and the report must be for the same month that we were capturing those other extra data sets under. So the report is going to be for June 1st to June 30th. So I'll request the report normally as you do at the facility. Then we wait for it. Good. So our report is now ready. So the next thing is now submitting our report to DHIS, which is supposed to be just a click away. So as I think as you had learned last week, you can view your reports. You can view your reports and see what is captured under each and every indicator. Okay. You can also view them through the Excel template. But in our case, because we want to submit it, we talked about the automatic data exchange, which is the ADX file format. So you simply click on the ADX, assuming all the configurations are right, and the next thing you do is to submit the message. But before I submit this message, I think just for the comfort of our mind, we need to be sure that there is no data, or we need to confirm what kind of data we have in the DHIS, what data is existing there. So I'll just bring in this. I want to hope you are still able to see my screen. I'm displaying DHIS. So this is the test instance hosted under the University of Nairobi domain. And the facility we want to look for, this facility is called Tesori Dispensary. So let's check in June, in the month of June, what we have under Tesori. So I'll just search for this particular facility. So the month of, let's select the data set. So let's select the data set for, I want to select the data set for VMMC. So let me look for VMMC. 731. Okay. June. So we can see there is nothing from your end. If you are able to look at my screen, you don't have any data. They are all blank. Type of circumcision, they are all blank. Adverse effects are also, adverse events are also blank. We can also do the same for PEP and just check if there is any entry for PEP before we submit our data. So then we can confirm that IL is able to submit our data. So we will check for PEP. That should be H5. I think it is this one. Yeah, so for PEP, you can see they're all blank. There's nothing. Maybe the last one you can also check is MAT. MAT, I think, is found under 6. Yeah, there is nothing under MAT. Let's look at the care and treatment. So care and treatment, there are some data that were previously sent here. So if at all we submit the data and maybe the report, the aggregates are different, then we'll be expecting that it will override whatever is existing under this, okay? So now we can go back and submit our data and see whether our extra indicators are being sent along with the standard indicators that are being reported from KenyaEMR 731. I'm still hoping that you're able to see my screen. Please, if you are unable to, let us know. As I said, you can also raise your hand or write any questions under the text area, so then we can address it. So let's just go back to our report and submit it. Okay, so it was 731. It was this one, ADX. We can view the message before submitting and see whether we have them. I can see we have the 150s and the 200s that we were having here. They are all there as part of the 731 report. So this is the ADX format that we were talking about. So the only thing you need to do is to submit this message and wait to see whether it is being submitted. Good. So this is a confirmation that the message has been sent from KenyaEMR to IL. So we can quickly come to IL under the notification and see if the message has been received, and clearly our message has been received in IL. So now it is upon IL to send this particular message, to send this particular report to DHIS. And as I said, there has to be internet connectivity at that point, and the configurations, the endpoints must have been set well. So we'll have to wait, we'll have to give it a few seconds for it to send that particular message. We are supposed to see a similar kind of blue or green balloon. Good, so you can see the message has been sent. So the message was sent to IL at 2:58, and at 2:59, the message has been submitted to DHIS. So at this point, we can safely say that as a facility, our facility has successfully submitted the report to DHIS, okay? So before we go to DHIS and confirm our reports, I don't know if there is any question or anywhere that maybe you might want me to go back and clarify before we go and verify our reports in the DHIS instance. Feel free to raise up your hands and ask a question, or you can text it in the text area.
Maybe not a question, Otieno.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Not a question. Maybe we can just confirm the partners who had not joined, if they have joined in, so that we can know how to support them if they have missed some of the sessions. The partners that were missing the first roll call.
Oh, okay. So would you like me to just go through the roll call one more time?
Only for the ones that had not joined in, yes.
Okay, so we didn't have CHS Shinda. I don't know if they have joined. Anyone from CHS Shinda?
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Momanyi from CHS Shinda.
Thank you. Anyone from Afya Nyota? Okay. Anyone from CHS Naishi? CHS Naishi? And lastly, anyone from UMB and Deleza? Yeah, so I think we are missing on the three. Afya Nyota, who are in a different meeting. We got the apology. We are missing CHS Naishi and also UMB and Deleza.
Ben, I've seen there's a UMB and Deleza. There's a representative. UMB and Deleza.
Can he acknowledge that he's here? You can call him out if you are seeing him on the call. Okay, so I think we'll proceed. Yeah.
I think that was Duncan from UMB Timiza. I think there was a confusion. That is UMB Timiza, not Endeleza.
No, I was calling out for UMB and Deleza.
Rose Nyaboke, I can see you on the call. UMB.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? This is Rose Nyaboke from University of Maryland.
So is that UMB and Deleza?
Yes, UMB and Deleza, Nairobi.
Yeah, we were calling out for any person from UMB and Deleza. All right, thanks and welcome. So Dan, I think that's it. So we think we are missing out on CHS Naishi and Afya Nyota. So the rest of the partners are in. So I don't know if there is any partner who may be joined in late, who maybe would want us to kind of go through a process that maybe they have missed. Okay, so good. Silence means we are all good. So
excuse me.
Yes.
Still Rose from UMB. I logged in 15 minutes later. I missed the bit of the first presentation.
Yeah, so I guess maybe we will do a recap towards the tail end. So then maybe we can also be able to look at some of the areas that you might have missed. So
okay.
At this point, I think we are going to verify our data in the DHIS. I don't know if Mary is already in the call. Mary is my colleague from the data use department.
Yes, I'm in the call.
Oh, thanks, Mary. So what we've done so far, we have been able to capture the data using the expanded air. We have been able to generate the 731, and we've been able to submit using the IL. So maybe you may want to just take it from there and take the team through what to do next and how to verify this data. And maybe if you have additional comment or remarks that you might want to make. Karibu.
Okay, Asante. Kindly enable screen sharing. Help me to enable my screen.
Okay, you can share.
1 minute. Okay, thank you for that, Bernard. Good afternoon, everyone. So I've seen that we have already been taken through the various data sets that we are able to use in the from our 731 report. Remember, I just want to clarify one point here, that currently we are able to send the 731 for care and treatment data sets. Let me just, I don't know whether you can see my screen at this point right now.
Yes, we can.
You can. So even before I take you through the confirming of the various data sets, let me just point out that we are working to have the entire 731 data set sent through air. But currently the ones that have been already, the work that we've already completed from our 731 are the following. I want to believe that you are well versed with the MOH 731 report because your care and treatment implementing partners, most of us. So we are able to send the MOH 731 1, that is the HIV testing and prevention services revision 2018 dataset. We are also able to send the 731 2, the PMTCT prevention of mother to child transmission revision 2018 dataset through air. Then we are also able to send the 731 HIV and TB treatment revision, that is the CAN treatment dataset through air. So you notice the very first three, that the HIV prevention, the HIV testing and prevention, the HIV prevention of mother to child, and the CAN treatment are data set. The data sets that emanate from mostly
Mary, you are,
eAIRs.
Mary,
that is because we have the
me?
TB, HIV. Yes. Hello?
Yeah, I think your network is breaking. You may want to move closer to the window.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Can you hear now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear.
You can hear now? So as I was saying, the first three data sets, that is the HIV testing and prevention, the prevention of mother to child transmission data set, plus the HIV TB treatment revision, all come from the eAIR. So just a point of note is that from those three data sets, we are able to generate a report just the same way we generate a report at the end of the month when we are sending, when we are doing our reports and sending to DHIS. We can do the same, generate the report and send directly to the data DHIS. But we have enabled, like Otieno had shown us earlier. Now we have enabled data sets that we don't have the modules for. Like for example, the VMMC, what he has shown you, the PEP, and the methadone assisted therapy data set. So that means if a site is offering these services, it is able to append those data sets to the 731, and the report will be sent as one report for that facility. I hope that is clear. So, okay, so currently we have enabled the PEP, PEP dataset using the data entry module. Then we have enabled the methadone assisted therapy, again using that module, and the medical male circumcision reports. So there is the only pending reports or data sets for us is the blood safety and the KEEPOP monthly summary plus the PrEP. I mean these two, the 731 plus KEEP population monthly and the monthly summary for facility. So that is the only work that is pending for us currently for transmission of those. So if there are no questions, I will proceed to show you or to verify the data that we have just sent. That is for Tesori dispensary. Are there any questions? Okay, so we proceed. So I'll start off with you noticed that we sent data for the medical male circumcision revision. So after going to logging into the DHIS2, just go to that data set. I remember we used the June 2020 period, and we had verified that before this that the data values were absent just before submission. But just after submission, you can see and you can recall that we had entered a value of 200 for most of these data elements. So that verify that's how you open the DHIS2 to data entry module to view the data elements that have been posted through through the ADX message format. So for data verification on the same, we expect that sites will be opening the sent report, that is the report from the EMR, and just confirming the numbers. Although just confirm that you entered 200 for AE during moderate. For example, this first data indicator, or for the number circumcised, let me just use a simple one here. Like for example, you can confirm that you entered 200 for circumcised. So that is it for the medical male. Let's go for the PEP. I remember we entered data for PEP. That is the post-exposure prophylaxis revision 2018 data set. So for June 2020, again, you can see that we've entered the values 100 and they are posted there, just as we had sent. Then I'll proceed to verify. Can I remember if put anything methadone-assisted therapy? That is the methadone-assisted therapy revision 2018. Again, you can verify and see that the data values were posted successfully. So there's one thing that usually is done, that is the running of the validations under the run validation module on the DHIS2. So after the posting, required to do is just run the validation and complete that data set. So currently we're using this test instance. If you remember, the URL was test.his.un.bi.ac.ke, which will be given, allowed to use for testing of this concept, the air. So again, you can run your validations, but right now I don't expect to do any validations because we did not adhere to the data. We were just entering, fictitious data, I can call it. Yeah, at least for this one it has passed. And then now you can complete this data set just the same way you do, or just the same way it's done in the DHIS2 by the various sub-county HRIUs to validate the data set. That is it. I don't know whether there's any other question. Over to you, Bernard.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I think there is one question from the text area. Someone from Makalda is asking if at all, let me read this. In KHIS, we have data set being locked like this month. We can't edit data from March 2020. So now if I encountered any anomaly in March, can I use KenyaEMR to edit this data and resubmit? So I think what the guy is asking is whether he can go in, let's say in the VMMC datasets in the expanded section and make corrections and resubmit that data with the hope that it is going to override whatever they had already submitted previously. Mary?
Okay, so thank you for that question. Now, okay, so the DHIS simply just works with the same processes that are currently in. It is possible to re-enter or to repost, resend actually the report before the data is locked, but we could take this discussion further and see whether technologically, I mean, whether it is viable to do that, to actually, but I wouldn't see it being a viable thing to, because there's a reason why DHIS locks data at some point so that they do complete. But then after the unlocking, we could take this discussion further with the DHIS team and see if that is possible. That is if it is required to do. But currently we are using the same processes. If the data is locked, you cannot be able to post. But before that, you can be able to post and as many times as possible. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess the guy who asked that question has been answered. There is a reason why DHIS locks, and it's not very, we are not very sure at this point whether it can allow the direct reporting to overwrite whatever was there once it has been locked. So as Mary says, that's a discussion that I think can be extended, but I guess it's more of a data management question on how the data, or how the DHIS maintains its integrity and for the data that has already been reported there within. Okay, so that is the process. I want to believe that we have learned how to do the direct KenyaEMR reporting of MOH indicators 731, and also for the extra indicators that are not being captured inside KenyaEMR, how we can do that using KenyaEMR. So I think I'll allow for a bit of time. I think, yeah, it is still 3:18. So we can maybe have a few minutes for Q&A. Anyone who has a question or concern that maybe you'd wish to be responded to before we conclude. So maybe I'll just, anyone who has a question can raise up the hand and ask, or any concern that you might have. Okay, so far there's no hand, means okay. Collins?
Hello.
Yes.
I hope I'm audible enough. So my question, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my question is around the KP importing data, that is 731 B plus for the diocese, which is reported in DHIS under at sub-county level. So I don't know whether we are thinking of how we'll program this now that it is not entered at sub-county and facility level, how this is going to be captured in our monthly reports. Are we going to program in KenyaEMR and with the L interface so that data is fixed, or we are going to continue with the normal reporting through the sub-county HROs?
Okay. Okay, I guess we have noted that. Any other? Oh, there is a question from John Kyoko asking whether there are if there are plans of growing IL to interface with the DATIM. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll request Mary. I don't know if you were able to capture Colin's question about the KP indicators that are normally reported on the 731B+, which are reported at the sub-county level. I don't know if there is anything you can comment on the same, how you see that being reported. But basically, maybe before Mary takes it, I would simply say that from the 3 extra data sets that we have looked at, right now the AI can only support the 3 data sets that are there: the VMMC, the MATS, and also the PEP. So we have not been asked to add any other additional data set, especially for KP, that can be reported directly from the EMR to the DHIS. So I think just based on that alone, I would say that for now we are unable to capture those as part of the AIR. So the AIR as it is cannot submit the KP indicators, the ones that are being reported under 731B+. So the status quo remains, Collins, for now. I don't know if Mary would like to add into that.
Okay, thank you, Bernard, for that. What I can comment right now, and I just hope Dr. Diambo is on the call to back me up. There is ongoing work. It's work under development to make that happen. So currently, development is going around that. So in the coming in the near future, we'll be able also to send or to post data for IL for the. Remember, I had pointed out that we are working to have the entire 731 being able to be sent through. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, then I think the last one about extending IL to report to link to the team. So then as it transmits data to DHIS, it can also submit the same to IL. I don't know if it can submit that to that team. I don't know if that is anything under the plan. Mary?
Okay, so thank you for that again, Bernard. So currently, I'll have to check and I'll have to check and come back to you guys about the same. Yeah, about dating IL interoperability. I'll have to check about that.
Okay, but I think the bottom line, if I may also chip in for Kyoko, the bottom line is that there are endless possibilities with IL. It's just a matter of pointing out to where that particular repository is. So for instance, if I'd want to add in maybe the team as part of the endpoints for IL, I'll simply be able to get the API for the team, which will be provided if at all it is something that is required. I get the API for the DATIM, and I just plug it into IL. The work of IL is like a postman. Receive the letter, post the letter. So the possibilities for IL they are endless. As long as there is correct endpoint provided by the receiving application or the receiving system, it still can be able to do that. It's just that there has to be some conversation done or whether it is possible that it should be done. Then the API is availed. The IL will be able to post reports to the team as well. Thanks for that. So I don't know if there's any other question pending out there that we could respond to before we end it, because that is all we had for today. So then after this, I think you can think of how this can be implemented or how you can benefit by having the direct report submission. So then you can also maintain your data integrity along the cascade. All right, so I think then that would be all. So we are going to avail this particular recording in the YouTube channel. For the partners who joined in late, feel free to go to YouTube, search for KenyaEMR 2 channel. You'll find this particular recording and more in that particular channel. And always, as usual, remember to subscribe. So then you can also be able to access future recordings that we'll be able to post within the channel. We have another session tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be having a deep dive into the data warehouse. I'm sure all the partners here have submitted their data to the data warehouse, and I'm sure there are questions that you've always been itching to ask, and also maybe some of the concerns that maybe you've been silently having. So tomorrow we are going to delve deeper into the data warehouse and all the visualizations that are there, and how you can also do your analytics using the ad hoc dataset analysis. All those will be you'll be taken through between 2 and 4 tomorrow. So at this point, I think I want to request you that kindly check in early so that we are able to begin at exactly 2. So then we are also able to end it early. So at this point, I don't know if Diana is on the call, if you'd want to make a comment or two before we end the call. I can see Danton Cruz' hand is up.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. I'm just wondering if you have a user manual for this process.
Yes, Duncan. If you'd like me to share the link, I can do that. But if you go to the data warehouse under the resources page, you're able to access all the available resources. And under eAIR and under IL, there are a lot of resources that have been developed that have been posted there. Feel free to get to them. If you don't, I can also give you a link to access them.
Thank you. Kindly share the link with me.
Okay, thanks. I will. Okay. All right. So, Mary, you have any final words before we go?
Okay, thank you. Bernard, I just want to thank all the participants for attending this session and urge them that that now the time for implementation for eAIR to send data through eAIR for the DHIS report is now. And as Dr. Odhiambo had just said before, after we started, to have a work plan by the various service delivery to purpose to start sending data. So if the site knows that and they're very confident and they've been doing data quality checks for the past months and they're confident with their data, they have no reason. You have no reason not to start sending data using so that you can reap all the benefits that have been. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mary. I'm seeing somebody's hand is there, JN. There is a hand which is up. Kindly.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
This is Joseph Nyoden, JN. from Matoso in Migori County. Okay, we have sent some our data to the DHIS2 using KenyaEMR through IL, as you have said. And we realized that when we are doing validation of the data in the DHIS2, we realized that 731 section 2, section 1 is just going through when we do the validation and complete. And when we do the section 731 section 3, that is care and treatment, it is also going through. But when we do the validation check for 731 section 2, which is about PMTCT, it is not going through when we do the validation. So the reason, I don't know whether the indicators or some commands are there which are not allowing that validation to go through. So it is happening right now. Last month we sent that report and we did that, and we said we saw something happening in that section or in that area. This month, today, yesterday, also we sent, and there was an issue in that section. So we don't know where the problem is.
Okay. So you mean the PMTCT section?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess, Mary, I don't know if you'll be able to reach out to Joseph and maybe help him with that.
Yes, actually, I've just received that issue as we were on the call, as we were on the training, and I'll immediately after the training I will touch base with you, and those are things that we can sort out.
Okay, yeah, just for the benefit of everyone, Matoso is one of the paperless facilities where they are submitting their reports using eAIR, so they don't submit any paper reports. So I think then that also kind of should be able to give us confidence in terms of adopting the electronic transmission of reports. Okay, so I think up to that point, we've exhausted all that we had for you today. So as I said, let's meet here again. Let's do it again tomorrow. We'll be having a deep dive into data warehouse. Check in early, so then we are able to tackle everything within the right time. So up to that point, I think I want to just take this opportunity to thank everyone for taking time to attend the training. Let's do this again tomorrow. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.